Thank you for joining me.
No worries. Thank you for having me.
So tell me a little bit about you and AlphaQuad.
So I started at AlphaQuad about 13 years ago now.
Wow.
So we're a digital marketing agency. We've been running 25 years. It was a family-run business. I started after joining from a publishing company.
Oh, cool.
So I was working in publishing out of university, did that for a few years, and then moved on to working online rather than offline. So it's been really interesting. It's good from the perspective of whatever you do online, you can change it quite quickly.
Yes.
Which was something I wasn't used to with publishing.
Yeah, you print it, it's done.
It's done. And that's as soon as you get a book through the doors, you realise all the spelling mistakes that you should have spotted in the last few months. Whereas at least on a website, it's like, oh, I'll just go into the code and change that.
I almost make that like a personal mission. I went through a real I was such a reader when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And then, like you really fall out of it in school when you're forced to read.
Yeah.
And then it was during COVID, I remember, because I was working at home with my previous job and I just did not have enough work to do. So I was like, well, I'll just start reading again, like during lunch breaks and
reading
other
for fun.
times. Yeah, reading for fun. What is this? And I really got into it and I found it like my personal mission to find spelling mistakes.
Yeah. There will be loads.
Yeah, I'd like text my friends and be like, ha 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 ha.
I found another.
It's the best. So how does that then translate into marketing? Well, I suppose publishing and marketing are very similar.
They are, because obviously once you've produced the book, or in our case now produced the website, unless you actually do something to tell people it's there, it may as well not be.
Yeah.
So once you've actually created the product, going out there and telling people about it, the process is the same regardless of what it is. But it is really interesting doing like online because it changes so fast paced.
Yeah. I definitely find that a lot of the people that I know in marketing never like went to school for marketing.
No.
There's very few people that I know that work in marketing now that have got a degree in marketing, because what you learned in your course is then not relevant necessarily. Like a lot of the tactics are the same, but a lot of the individual stuff is completely different within a year.
So fast, isn't it?
Yeah, because I ended up falling into marketing from customer service.
Yeah.
I just kind of worked my way up the company and was like, oh, I guess I work in marketing for a global brand. That feels well above my age range and my experience level. But yeah, I feel like marketing is definitely one of those things you fall into and you either love it and you get it, or you really don't.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing for you, it was like, oh, this makes sense.
Yeah.
This clicks.
Yeah, definitely. It was when I sort of left the book publishing company, it felt like books were a thing that people didn't want anymore. So it was almost like having to move with the times. We were selling less and less. Yeah. We were pushing a lot of through Amazon, and the costs that they were sort of taking as commission was making it almost not worth the printing costs.
Yeah.
And so I was thinking, I'm going to have to do something that moves with the time a little bit, even though I still love books.
Yeah.
It was really difficult to actually sell a printed book. So
it was quite like a conscious choice to move more digital rather than just being like, okay, I don't work in publishing anymore. Yeah. What am I doing?
Yeah, it was a case of, this company isn't going to make it. We're going to have to I'm going to have to find something that it's got more life to it. And definitely online marketing was the way to go. Yeah. But it has changed so much in the 13 years.
Yeah.
Since I started, or even in the last couple of years, really. It doesn't seem that long ago that if you search something on Google, it brought up a list of sort of 10 results in the order that Google thought was most important. And now the front page of a Google search result is just all over the place with different things that you need to understand how to feature in.
So I suppose that's probably a really big portion of what you guys are doing at the moment. It's just teaching people how to use Google, which sounds ridiculous because it's a verb. Like, you Google it.
Yeah.
Like, but we still have no idea now because it's changed so much again.
Yeah, we're finding more and more, sort of 5 or 6 years ago, a lot of the companies we work with started taking everything in-house. Mm-hmm. And so it became harder and harder to kind of find projects where people were outsourcing it. And now we're getting more and more inquiries from in-house marketing teams, because actually it's a lot to keep on top of.
Yeah.
And there are benefits of working with an agency from the fact that that is not your problem.
Yeah, definitely.
You don't need to be keeping up with the times and how things work, because your agency will do that for you and tell you what needs to change.
And having worked in-house in like a corporate marketing, you're often sat with really small teams where you're trying to be a master of all and you're really a master of none, because you're just doing what you're told, and you don't have that space to learn, really. You just go, well, this is how it's always been done, so this is how we're going to do it. So then you find nothing works. Like, you don't actually get any results.
You're just throwing things out there and nothing's sticking.
Exactly. So working with people like you, where your entire job is to know what is going on, it takes away a lot of the guesswork that you're not privy to when you work in corporate.
Yeah, definitely. And then what we often see ourselves is almost like an extension of an in-house marketing team. So they're still the best people to know the brand and the day-to-day changes. But we can then sort of say to them, you're not going to get rankings by doing that anymore. We need to do this instead. And then they can roll with it, but we can put the strategy behind it and then be the extra pair of hands when they need it. Because sometimes if you've got a marketing team of 2 or 3 people... It's really hard to get everything done.
It is. So much to get done. I've been there. Never want to go back. But I know that you guys also work, as well as working with businesses that have internal marketing teams, you do a lot of work with SMEs and teams where we have no one, basically. You're just figuring it out, as all SMEs do. Yeah,
we've spent such a long time working with large corporates and learning with good budgets how to make things work, what works, what doesn't work, what targeting works, what targeting doesn't work.
Because it's expensive.
It is expensive.
It can
to
be
get it
really
right.
expensive.
Yeah, and you can spend budget on something that doesn't work, and that's also okay, because sometimes working out what isn't working or isn't resonating is as valuable as working out what is.
Yeah.
But there are some companies that they just can't afford to find that out. So what we then like to do is take what we've learned with the larger companies and help the smaller businesses, the startups, the SMEs to actually get themselves underway, because those sorts of companies, they don't need a large agency and they can't afford one, but they do need the skills and the knowledge, which is where kind of we come in with workshops and talks and seminars and that kind of thing, so we can help educate businesses so that they can keep going.
Can do something.
It's really hard to keep going.
It is, and it's the sort of thing that's like, you know, you start a business as an SME because you're passionate about something.
Yeah.
The odds on that one thing being marketing or sales is
pretty small.
Pretty slim. So most of the time you find there's SMEs and entrepreneurs and business owners. Saying that, most business owners I know don't call themselves entrepreneurs.
No.
Me and Josh had this conversation because I was like, I've never heard you call yourself an entrepreneur. And he was like, well, I don't really think I am. Like, I don't have everything together. And I'm like, I don't think anybody has everything together. But yeah, you're so focused on what's made you passionate about the business. It's almost a real shame when you see people then getting bogged down with the marketing, the sales, everything that goes with it. But it's so essential to having a business.
Yeah.
So I think if anything, SME owners are generally the best at giving up agency to stuff and saying, I'm not an expert at this. Please find me someone who is, and please help.
And the other thing we find as well with these smaller sort of startup companies is they'll latch on to something they've worked out. And then if you put all your eggs into one basket, it's just such a risky strategy to have. So I worked with a lady probably about a year and a half ago now who was running just a really small business. And she ran almost all of it through Facebook and then got locked out of her Facebook account.
Oh my God.
And her whole business was going to collapse because she couldn't bring any money in, because she hadn't got strategies. She hadn't got different strands of marketing. She knew how to work Facebook. She'd got better and better at it the more she was doing it.
Yeah.
And so the whole business was run through her Facebook account, and then she lost her Facebook account.
Oh my God.
And so she was in a real state. So obviously that's another way that agencies can help, because we have contacts at Facebook. We could get her back up and running, and we could support her with that. But then the other thing we tried to sort of sit down and talk to her about was, you need to diversify a little bit, because it's too risky having all of your sales channel in one place. And that's too risky for every business to have all of your sales channel in one place, because as soon as the audience changes slightly, or if you look at Google, if you had a website that was really, really well optimized, it almost doesn't matter now.
Not anymore.
because there's like 3 top positions on a page now, and now you need to be advancing to be found in AI search. You need to be considering paid advertising a lot more, because there's so many sponsored ads.
Yeah, definitely.
And so if you don't move with the times and make sure you're being found in all of those places, you're going to end up left behind.
Yeah, and it's tough to know what the right move is.
Yeah.
Because it is changing all the time. So I know a lot of people will just sort of do anything.
Yeah.
And just hope. But it's, if you have some kind of strategy behind it, oh my God, just the idea of having everything on Facebook.
It was just
terrifies me.
Yeah.
But also you're missing out on a complete other audience that you then don't have access to. Yeah.
Yeah.
I avoid Facebook like the plague nowadays. I just get really frustrated at it. But like, we know that our audience, like, we're doing B2B, so a lot of ours it's either Google or it's LinkedIn.
Yeah.
And so that's where we need to focus it. And it's like, yes, we have Instagram because, you know, we're very creative, and we have the Facebooks, you might as well duplicate the content over there, why not?
Yeah.
But, you know, you're not putting your energy into it. But even, I think for us, I mean, we are the biggest hypocrites, being like, get your content out there, and then we
do nothing,
rarely post at all. But we definitely try to focus more on personal branding for like myself and for Josh, because it's us that sort of sells the company and sells the product. We are our culture is the product, basically. So we find that because we're networking so much, it's almost our personal LinkedIn that becomes like our shop window. But then having a website that you can use to convert people you don't already know is, again, so important. But that is such a beast to attack.
We find with marketing ourselves that everything works, but just not very much.
Yes.
So you have to be doing a little bit of everything. We're finding the same, that Tim and I are really trying to push our own LinkedIn and our own brands, because like you said, when you're out and about networking, it's the person that people are connecting with, but you need to try and sort of push that back onto the brand pages as well, so that people connect it with the expertise that the entire company has got, and not just sort of
just you
the two faces. But it's always a balancing act, isn't it?
It is. And it can very much feel like there's too much to even like take a bite of anything. Because you say SEO to someone and they're like, oh, I don't understand. But I think what I've learned, because I did your SEO workshop, and that was fascinating. Loved it. I loved how many practical tasks there were, because
like sending people home with homework.
I have been doing my homework, you will be happy to know. I have been doing it, and it's been wonderful. But I find like the way that you guys explain SEO, it's very systematic. It's not actually as complicated once you've unlocked how to do it.
It's quite straightforward. The thing we always say to people is, because you'll get all sorts, and we get emails as an SEO agency, we still get emails from people that say, we can get you up the rankings, and we can do your SEO for £200 a month.
Oh, every day.
It will not work.
No.
But the model that they've got is that it doesn't matter that it doesn't work. They'll sign so many people up because it's so cheap that in 6 months' time, when it's not worked, it doesn't matter. They can just move on to the next group of people that will give it a try. But with SEO, just churning out content for the sake of it isn't going to work, because you need to really be in the top 5 positions to actually result in traffic. And so if you just write 3 blog posts a month, none of those blog posts are ever going to get into the top 5 positions, because you need to keep refining them and working on them. So actually, if you haven't got much time, it's much more effective to work on content you've already done than to keep churning out new.
Which, to someone like me who takes forever to write anything,
is that music to your ears?
That is music to my ears, because I'm like, oh, you mean I can just tweak things?
Yes,
and I don't have to like rewrite a whole new thing. Like, I wrote all the copy for our website, our new website, and it worked out to be 2 dissertations worth of words. I was going, I can't do this again. I've already done my degree. I don't want to do 2 more. Which is what it feels like. And it's the same with like I've started making a dent in writing case studies for us and things like that. And obviously every time we get a project that we're going to want to use as a case study, it's then looking at, okay, how are we using this as a case study? How are we linking it back in? What questions are people actually looking for on Google to be solved that we have solved within this project that we've done?
Yeah.
Do we make this question the linchpin for this case study instead of just going, we made some lovely pictures and some lovely videos. Please watch it. We really think it's very good. Instead, having like something that's actually going to be searched on Google, so then people can find the case study first and then find us second.
Yeah.
Which I learned from you, so thank you very much.
The other thing with case studies as well is obviously it's got really, really easy now for anybody to use something like ChatGPT and prompt it into writing some really good content. Mm-hmm. And using some case studies and linking back to examples where you're actually the expert in what you've written about will help
it's
in
authority,
your rankings.
Isn't it?
Yeah. And that's becoming really important because Google's goal is still to rank the best websites.
Yeah.
But it's got harder and harder for it to work out what those are.
Yeah. And it's so crazy. I was talking to someone yesterday about it when I was saying, I was like, I mean, I started uni 10 years ago. Which I was like, that doesn't feel like that long ago. Yeah. It feels like very current. But even when I was at uni, AI generated text was not a thing.
No.
Grammarly was barely a thing that they were pushing to students to go, yeah, use it to check all your grammar. And I was like, I am the grammar police. Thank you very much.
I don't need that. Thank
don't
you.
need it. And also it just wasn't a thing that was commonly used. It was generally for people who have like dyslexia and may want that little extra bit of help to try and filter things through. And we were like, great, that's an amazing tool to have. But the idea of just going, can you write this for me, didn't exist. No. And that's like, even if I go back to when I was writing my dissertation, that's 6-7 years ago.
Yeah,
that's crazy how short of a time span that's been to us now being in the stage where we're like, oh, I need to write something, can you write it for me, please, computer?
I don't like that side of AI. There's loads of huge benefits to AI, and it can really help if you've got something to write about and you need it to sort of help prompt you, or you're trying to think of something. It can be really useful. But sometimes I'll send an email to somebody and I think, I can tell your reply has just been put through ChatGPT, and I want to talk to you, not a machine. I don't feel like you've actually listened to what I've said, because you've got a tool to answer you instead. Yeah,
it doesn't have the emotive link to it.
No.
I literally wrote myself a note the other day that was in my notebook, and it just said, Tish, stop being so scared of using AI, because I was like, I feel like I've gone really the opposite direction, where I was so scared of using it for anything because we've been told so many times that it was like, if you use any AI on your website, it's never going to rank for anything. Like, it can tell, it'll fish it out. And I'm like, okay, let me write every single little bit of web copy. But I was like, but why am I then not using it in anything? So for instance, like script writing for us. So I was like, well, I might get a 6-page marketing document from a client, and I've got to put that into a 2-minute voiceover script for a company video. Okay, so what's the first? Okay, you go through, you like pick out all your key marketing points. And I was like, okay, well, that I can do manually because that's quite easy. I also know what the client's wanting to talk about. So that's kind of human intervention. I could probably run it through AI. You then get max character counts and things like that, and that becomes an issue. So I can pull out that info. But then I will sit there and go, right, I don't really like writing things that much. So am I going to sit here for hours and try and put this into just the bare bones of a script that I can then make? I don't mind the making it fancy bit. That bit I really like. But just the starting from a blank page, I hate. So I've started now going, hi, Copilot. Here is my marketing points. Can you put this into a 2-minute voiceover script for me? This is the company type. This is the tone of voice we're going for. And it will give me something and I'll go, okay, I'm not going to use that exactly,
but I've got something to work
but I've got
now.
something to work from. Like I can edit it, I can make it flow better, I can make it sound more like my client because I've met them, I know what it sounds like, and it's just cutting that time down.
Yeah.
So I need to definitely stop being so scared of using it at all.
It's really good for some time saving. And often, like if we're writing a long blog post, we write all of our copy without AI because we've got the expertise and we want to sort of get across there. But sometimes you write a couple of paragraphs and think, oh, they're clumsy. Put them through AI and get it smartened up. And then you can put sort of a blog post out and you can say, right, can you succinct this into some email campaigns for me? Or can you turn this into a series of 4 or 5 LinkedIn posts? Or
that's such a good idea.
So it's taking your own content but repurposing it for you, and you still want to check what it said and make sure that it's in the tone and things, but it can save time in that way.
Yeah, definitely. And I feel like that's kind of the way it's moving. It's gone from here's a thing that will do everything for you to now then going the opposite way of never using it, and now going, okay, let's meet in the middle somewhere. Like, it can be used for a benefit, but you still need to be careful with it. Yeah,
you still need the human touch when you're using it. But one of our favourite stats at the moment is that actually there's more people use the search engine DuckDuckGo than the search engine ChatGPT.
Really?
I don't think that's going to be the case for very long.
No.
But it's not. It's talked about a lot, but it's not used as much as people think it is as a search engine.
Yes. Yeah.
You get a lot of people saying, should we drop what we're doing in Google and just focus on ChatGPT? And like, if you don't want any business, you could. But
it's like, who are you going to get?
And actually, if you're doing your SEO properly, it will work across AI engines and also like the AI overviews that appear in Google searches and things.
Because that pulls everything from Google anyway.
It just wants really good content. We're finding it's different content. So we talk about it in the workshop, but what we're finding at the moment ranks better in AI overviews is longer form conversational, what you'd probably call blog post content. Yeah. And then obviously your service pages and your core content that describes what you do is still what will rank in your keywords.
Yeah. Because I find it really interesting because we say to people, so obviously because of accessibility laws for anyone that trades into the EU, but also it's just generally really, really good practice. Any videos that have speech in them, we put subtitles on. Yeah. But what we're saying to people now is, you can then get a text file of those subtitles and then index it on your website. Is that helpful for SEO to pull from?
Yeah, same with if you're publishing a video, say on YouTube, and you put the transcript there, it's searchable. So when you're producing video, you should be thinking of the keywords that you want to be found for and making sure they're in your scripts and that you're talking about them. And you might do that naturally. Yes. Because your keywords are likely to be things that you talk about anyway. Yeah. But it's always worth doing the exercise that we do in the workshops where you actually have a look at whether what you think people search for is what they're actually searching for.
Yeah, because that shocked me a lot. There was one particular thing that I remember we looked at, and it was the spelling of the word time-lapse. Yeah. Because some people put it as one word together, some put it as 2, some put it with a hyphen in between. And I think we found it was the hyphenated one
that got the most search.
Yeah, but I was like, but we've historically always done it as one word. It's on our business cards as one word. So we've kind of made our own bed. But you think, actually, is it that much of an issue to change it or put, both variants in different parts of the content? No one's going to look at it and go, oh, you've misspelt it. And it's like, well, both ways are correct, both ways are technically. Right. But it is hard to do. I know we had a conversation about how there is, like I said, brands becoming verbs. Yeah. You then have an issue of the verb being copyrighted. So my previous job was working for a vacuum company, and we could not use the word Hoover. Yeah. And it was, back in the day, you used to be able to put it in white text on a white page, and it was fine. You could hide it at the bottom, but you can't do that now. No. Because it looks for it. And so it's then finding ways to integrate that in. And a lot of the ways that you can do things that aren't sort of as offensive to the brand is in using testimonial footage of stuff where it's other people talking about it. Yeah. But it's still your content, basically. Yeah. So yeah, we're trying to push people to sort of, get yourself on camera, do FAQ videos, do testimonial videos, make a podcast, like do something where you're talking and you're going to say all of these keywords and then use it.
And these things now really help with EAT and showing that you've got experience and the authoritativeness to be talking about this subject. If you then write in a blog post about it and you can link to a video you've done or a podcast you've done, it shows that you really do know what you're talking about. And that will help your rankings.
Absolutely, because at the end of the day, it's still people buy from people. So the authority to know that that person knows what they're doing, and you're not just paying someone to go, well, I hope you know what you're doing because I'm going to give you some money, by having something like this where you sit down and go, yes, this is what I do. And I sound very eloquent doing it. I never do, but that's fine. It definitely helps people get a feel for who you are, and it helps them know, like, do I like that person? Do I want to do business with that person? Which, especially as SMEs, is really important to us.
So important,
yeah. So what sort of stuff do you see? Because you've had a lot of change in AlphaQuad, so you are now a director.
I am a director.
It's very exciting.
Yeah.
How's that change coming about? Is there sort of plans for a big shift, or is it kind of more of the same things, doing really great work and focusing on that?
It's doing really great work and focusing on that. I think the fact that both Tim and I have had a lot of years experience working for AlphaQuad. So I was an account manager beforehand and Tim was a front-end developer. So now that we're obviously directors, we have to shift what we're doing, because we have to be getting out there and getting the business in and speaking to people and meeting people. But I actually think having the background of working for the company for so long really helps, because when people have questions, we can answer them. We know how search engine marketing works, we know how paid advertising works, how social media works, how to build a website. So it's not like sometimes there's a face of a company, but then when you come to work with them, it's an entirely different team. That's not the case for us.
Nice.
We have got the sort of experience of working for the company, as well as sort of working on the business as well as in the business kind of thing.
And it's not like you're not still doing the in the business
still
stuff.
doing
You are still working on accounts and helping clients figure out what they need.
I think that's important, because I've had sort of a lot of kind of trying to decide what to drop and what not to drop. So for example, I do a lot of paid advertising work, so I work really closely with Google, and we go down to London relatively often to the Google offices to kind of meet.
Are they
Google
as cool
teams.
as people say?
They are cool.
Oh, I really want to go.
And I'm thinking, how much of that do we sort of hand over to other people now? But I feel like actually doing the doing is still really important, and being able to sort of have meetings and say, I was with Google the other week and this is what they're planning, and it actually helps when you're networking to know what's going on. So now just a couple of us tend to go to those meetings. Nice. And so the account manager goes and I go, and we still work on the projects together. But it's the same, like, to be Google partners. So AlphaQuad's a Google partner. 3 of the team have to sit exams every year.
Oh, wow.
And obviously, if we're only a team of 6, I still have to be one of those that sits the exams. So if you remove yourself too much,
then you don't know what's going on.
It becomes too difficult.
I never knew that you had to sit exams to be a Google partner.
So we have to sit exams in search, shopping and display every year.
That's so cool. And that's definitely it's again another authority point for you guys of just going, look, it's not just that we're saying we know what we can do. Like, here is my qualification.
I have a qualification.
I have a certificate from Google. They said yes.
Even when, because the exams themselves aren't actually too bad. When you're working on Google accounts all the time, you can answer them. But as soon as you're sitting in that exam environment, you only do it in the office. Just you have to sort of take yourself away. I think you get something like an hour and a half to sit the exam. But you still sit there and think, am I going to pass this? Like, I'm sure you are. You've been doing none of us have ever failed it.
You sit there going, what would happen if we did fail? How did the company survive?
Have I been doing this wrong for the last year? No, still passing.
Exactly. It almost would feel really validating, and so you can definitely get more backing in yourself, because I know that we have it sometimes where we're we are really good at what we do, but there's always that little bit of doubt in your brain going,
is there someone better.
Are we?
Yeah.
Like, are we actually that good?
Yeah.
And then we watch what we make and we're like,
yeah,
no, we are that good.
Yeah.
But there's that point in your brain that's just going, am I just making it all up?
Yeah.
Am I just really fooling everybody? But actually having that kind of validation from Google,
yeah,
like, you cannot get any higher when it comes to websites, basically. So that's very, very cool.
It is funny. Because I was doing this the other day. I don't know if you do the same, but we do monthly reports.
Yeah.
And we find it really important to do reporting for clients with really data driven. Because otherwise, how do you know what's working and what's not working? And
absolutely.
so I was looking back through the August report, and I'd written in there that we'd had I think it was something like a 14. The average number of search engine positions that client had gone up that month was 14.
Oh wow.
And so their average position was something like 4.7 now. So
for
the keywords that we were looking at, their average position was 4.7. And so I'd written in there, next month this should increase your revenue from organic search. And then in September I'm like, oh no, why did I write that? I need to try and make... But it did. Their revenue in September had gone up by 16%, which is exactly what you'd expect to happen.
Yeah.
But you do sort of look at it and think, will this definitely happen? But of course it does. If you're doing it right, if you're targeting the right keywords.
Yeah.
And like we say, you need to really be in the top 5 positions for it to actually drive traffic to the website. And obviously, so if their average position is 4.7, they're in that space.
They're in the golden zone.
There is no reason why that wouldn't have resulted in an increase in.
But you still doubt yourself.
And then you think, why did I put myself under that pressure? And then you have a look and you have made several £1,000s more than you did the previous month. Good.
Well done.
It is working.
Good work. But yeah, it is nice when you can see those results. And like you say, like, reporting is so important. Yeah. Like, we're trying to get a lot of our clients into the habit of going, okay, so you're having this video. Why are you having this video?
Yeah.
Okay, it's an awareness campaign. How are we tracking success?
Yeah.
Like, are you wanting more visitors to your website? What's the call to action? Like, and it's still a really hard thing that I'm still working on figuring out with a lot of our clients, because a lot of they don't know as well. And then it makes it hard for us to go to future clients and go, we have X percentage ROI on this, that, and the other. Because I'm like, well, I don't actually know.
I don't know if it's worked.
Yeah. It's easier if you're making kind of like TV ad, like for sales or something like that. Like, you have a metric, or back when I used to work in marketing, you'd have like a discount code. And you're like, well, I know X amount of people have used this discount code in the last 3-month period. That means we have generated this amount of money. Yeah. It's so much easier to track. So a lot of marketing and sales is just figuring out that golden like thing for your company.
Yeah.
And I imagine you get all kinds of businesses, and so you have to really adjust how you're tracking almost.
Yeah. And it's also understanding the different types of tracking. So we were doing a Google Analytics training course at the start of the week, my colleague Emily and I, and we were trying to teach them that you need to have a look at not only sort of which sources are driving your traffic, but which sources are driving the first point of contact with your brand. Because often something like email, for example, people don't come back lots of times from an email. But if that email is what's driven them to your brand for the first time, would they have found you another way? Or would they have never found you at all? And so when you're having a look at sort of what's the last point before they converted, it's not necessarily the best metric to use. You need to look at their entire journey, and hardly anybody comes into a site and converts straight away. We're seeing it more and more now that there's more, we call it zero-click content, but where questions are being answered in search engine results pages rather than sending people through to websites. Yeah. So I expect most of the businesses listening to us talking have seen that they've got less traffic than they had, say, a year ago. Yeah. Because that's just the marketplace now. Yeah. Search engines are not driving traffic to websites. No. And so more and more companies are having people sort of interact with them without realizing they're interacting with them.
Well, it's like I do it myself. Like, if I need to know, like, and it will always be like stupid facts. Like the other day we were trying to Google what is the fastest someone's eaten 20 chicken nuggets from McDonald's.
What's the answer?
I can't remember off the top of my head, but it was surprisingly not as quick as you'd think it was.
Really?
We were like, we could definitely do this if we were hungry. we were this close to being like, right, Christmas do this year. We're gonna nail 20 chicken nuggets. But like, you don't click onto Guinness World Records website. You just look at the AI overview and go, oh, it's 2 minutes, whatever it was.
Yeah.
I think it was around like 2.5 minutes.
But at some point, when you decide you want to break that record, you're going to have to land on their website to fill in your form.
Exactly.
But the Guinness World Records aren't going to know how many times you've touch point with that brand before you actually end up on their site.
Which is going to be so frustrating for so many brand owners. I imagine, especially when it comes to products as well.
Yeah.
And like e-commerce sales, like that's going to be a real pain to try and work around.
Yeah. We're seeing that conversion rates should be going up.
Yeah.
And sales should be going up. But overall traffic is down. And the challenge then is, where are they interacting with your brand and how can you control the interactions they have, which is where, again, that content on your site has got to be really good, because if AIs are scraping it, you need to know they're scraping the right information, that they're comparing you favorably with the other competitors they scrape as well.
Yeah, it's quality. It's quality over quantity.
Yeah.
Basically, like, you can't, like you say, you can't just plug out 3 blog posts a month and go, yeah, great.
Done it. SEO, tick.
And then, which it's an ongoing thing, and that's what they always say. It's like, you can't just do SEO and be like, yay.
And because it's so hard, that's why we really try and focus businesses' minds on, look at the keywords that you really want to drive traffic for, because there is no point ranking for you might sort of do your keyword research and see, right, that keyword's got 2,000 searches a month and that one's got 200 searches a month. I'm going to go for the big one. But actually, if it's not very targeted and it's very competitive, you've got no chance, and you're better off trying to drive those 200 people, or sometimes even 10 searches a month.
Yeah.
Because if it's 10 searches for people looking specifically for a product, they're more valuable than getting no share of 2,000 people who were just generally searching.
Well, exactly. This is what we were trying to think of when we were kind of structuring what our main web page, like services pages, were going to be keyworded as. And we were like, oh, like video production Worcestershire. Great. And it was actually a surprising number. And then we were like, corporate video production Worcestershire. And it was like, okay, there's not that many. But we're like, okay, well, you think, so say it's like 10 searches a month. Okay, but our conversion rate from inquiry to actually doing a project currently is around 64% this year. So that's, say, like 5 of them convert. A project with us can take, like, you know, it can take a week, it can take 2 weeks, it can take a month.
Yeah.
How many projects can we feasibly do?
Yeah.
So if it's only 10 searches, and that's just for corporate video, what about event video and photography and animation and everything else? Like, if our conversion rate is good, we need to be making sure that we actually maybe aren't going for those bigger things. Otherwise, we're going to be trying to run before we can walk.
Yeah.
And we're not quite set up for that.
And you're probably not going to rank for it anyway.
Exactly.
And if you rank position 34 for one of those really big keywords, matter. You may as well not be doing it at all. And put your effort into ranking position 2 for one of those easier, smaller keywords that you can actually drive business from. Absolutely.
And it's finding it's not necessarily just the keywords that are, you know, easy to rank for. It's finding ones that are going to drive the type of clients we want to work with.
Exactly.
And not just going, well, this looks pretty easy and it's got a decent search volume, and it's like, yeah, but it's for this specific type of video and this specific type of client.
Cheap in it, and we don't want that.
Like, we're not cheap, we're never going to be cheap. So even though we'd rank for it, it's not going to convert at all, because they're going to see our prices and they're going to go, that's not
good.
What I wanted. At which point you're then not accurate.
Yeah.
Which, you know, feeds into everything else.
Exactly.
So it's a bit of a minefield. So I can definitely understand why people are like, please just do it for me. Here is my business.
Yeah.
Sort my SEO.
And what we tend to do when we're working with a new company is actually find out what it is, what their goals are, who their clients are, and we've got partners that we can bring in as well if they don't know the answer to that. Yeah. Because we're very specifically sort of a marketing agency. So we know how inside out how to do SEO, paid advertising and social media marketing. Yeah. But if we start to work with someone who doesn't have a very strong brand, we'd bring in one of our partners
Yeah.
We wouldn't have a stab at doing you a brand. We'd get the expert to do that for you, which is where I think some people that would just do it cheap, like you said earlier, they'll have a go at everything, but don't do anything as well as it could be done.
Yeah, it's definitely, and it's the same ethos we have, because we've had, coaches over the years say to us like, oh, you guys should really like work on the distribution side and like the marketing strategy for your clients, and like you're giving them these great videos, you should really help them in implementing them. And we're like, absolutely, we partner with these people, we have all these people we can recommend. We tend to be like, right, I know my client likes this kind of person, so I'm going to partner them with this sort of company and sort of hand them over. And they were like, oh, why don't you do that in house? I was like, well, because realistically Josh isn't going to do it, Jack's not going to do it because he's busy editing, so that leaves me. And I turned around and I was like, quite frankly, I don't want to do it.
No.
I don't have any interest in it.
It's not a skill set.
So and as much as they're like, oh, you could definitely learn it, I'm like, I probably could. There's a reason I don't work in marketing anymore. And it's because it's not what I have passion in. And so I'm not going to give it my 100%. And that's not fair on my client. I would rather partner with people and go, these people are great. Please go see them. And then we can work with them on the optimization. And figure that out. Like, we can give you whatever file sizes you need and figure that. But yeah, trying to be a master of all rarely works.
No.
And as much as it can look like the best thing in the world to do, maybe one day we will be set up in a way where, we can acquire other people and we can be this agency that does everything. That's not going to be anytime soon. We're just going to focus on being really good at what we do.
The bit that you do. But the fact that you understand marketing and can make sure that the videos have the right sort of keywords in the script and so on.
Absolutely.
Is really beneficial, because then it means that you're not just producing a video and putting it up on a website and it never being found.
Oh, exactly. My real bugbear is when people say to me, they're like, oh, but I've got a YouTube channel. And I'm like, okay.
Well done.
You're a brand. I'm like, you are trying to sell like sofas. Who on YouTube is going, you know what, I really want to look at today? Some sexy sofas. It doesn't work. It's like, okay, it's a good hosting platform. To link back to through other things, but unless you are a gaming YouTuber or like a lifestyle whatever, like, people aren't just going to sit and find you on YouTube.
You don't need to be finding your sofas on YouTube.
Yeah, you are screaming into the void. Like, you need to be thinking of different ways to optimize. But yeah, it's having that, I have a base knowledge of marketing to know the start point. To then go, I know what I know and I know what I don't. And I'm not going to try and know what I don't know, because I'm just going to go to the experts on that basis. And you guys are really similar, bringing in people that can help with that, like you say, like brand and content and things like that, to make a really great full package. And it's just going to be for the best interest of your client at the end of the day.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, that's been really interesting. I find that like every time I talk about SEO, I'm always like, oh god, there's so much to it. And then as soon as we break it down, it's like,
oh, it's okay.
It's actually really interesting.
It is really interesting. The thing is, for a lot of companies, I mean, obviously the marketing departments aside, they do have a bit more time, but business owners, they don't have the time.
No.
They sit down and they think, oh, I know I should be doing this. And some of them will come onto our workshop and be like, oh, yeah, now I really understand why I need to be doing this. I want, like the client we were working for last month, I want a 16% month-on-month uplift in my organic revenue. But actually sitting down and finding the time to spend on it, you'd never actually get any of your actual business work done if you sat and did SEO and your social media and all the other bits and pieces that you need to do. At some point you have to work out, what am I going to outsource so that I can actually keep going and thriving and growing my business.
So who are your like favorite types of people to work with? Because you have such a broad range.
We do. I think my favorite type of companies are the ones that do have a marketing department of sorts. So they've usually got sort of 2 or 3 people, and so you're not trying to sort of compete with other things. You're only sort of working on marketing, and they've got a budget set aside to work on marketing, because it's frustrating to sort of come across a client that you think, oh, this is going to be great, but the budget isn't there, and you think
you could be so good.
You could be so good, but
I understand.
And if we don't put the right sort of budget behind it, it won't drive the results, and then everyone just gets frustrated. So there is no point sort of trying to do something cheaply. You've got to sort of
do it properly. And
obviously if there's a company big enough to have a marketing department, it's already
the value's there.
Budget there, the value's there.
Yeah.
We work with a lot of manufacturing companies. They're really great to work with, because they often sort of don't understand marketing.
Yes.
And so they're often not doing very much, so you can make a big impact. Obviously also with the location that we're in here in the Midlands, there's a lot of manufacturing companies around.
Yeah.
I also quite like working in sort of the healthcare, care home industries as well, because then you're making a difference to people,
definitely,
which is also really nice.
Yeah, it's really, we've had it's really funny when I talk to you, because we do have a really similar demographic of clients.
Yeah,
there's a lot of construction, manufacturing, kind of like the blue collar side of the business, where they're interested but they don't really know, it's not a traditional part of their business. And then also in the like healthcare sector, where it's all about people. So it's always really interesting whenever we chat, because I'm like, we've done something similar recently.
We often go sort of to there's big shows at the NEC and things. I think Tim and I are going to Advanced Engineering at the end of this month.
Oh wow.
And it's really interesting as well, just going to those and keeping up to date with what's happening in the sectors that you want to work with. And
because they also move ridiculously
really
quickly for anything like engineering wise and manufacturing. It is light speeds ahead of anything else, because it has to be. The world is just moving so quickly. New things are getting invented. It is a whirlwind, but I think that's what makes it really exciting.
It is very exciting.
Ooh, I'm excited to see what the future of AlphaQuad with you and Tim at the helm looks like.
Watch this space.
Thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks, Tish.
Amazing.